Introduction. The only valid measurement of code quality is the number of WTFs per minute you're hearing behind the door of the code review room. Good code might elicit a couple of WTFs, but bad code results in a non-stop litany of WTF, dude, WTF. So, which one represents your code? Which represents your team or your company? Why are we in the code review room? Is this just a normal code review, or have we found a stream of horrible problems shortly after going live? Are we debugging in a panic, poring over code that we thought worked? Are customers leaving in droves and managers breathing down our necks? How can we make sure we wind up in the good code room when the going gets tough? The answer is craftsmanship. There are two parts to learning craftsmanship: knowledge and work. You must gain the knowledge of principles, patterns, practices, and heuristics that a craftsman knows, and you must also grind that knowledge into your fingers, eyes, and gut by working hard and practicing. I can teach you the physics of riding a bicycle. Indeed, the classical mathematics is relatively straightforward. Gravity, friction, angular momentum, center of mass, and so forth can be demonstrated with less than a page full of equations. Given those formulae, I could prove to you that bicycle riding is practical and give you all the knowledge you need to make it work, and you'd still fall down the first time you climbed on that bike. Coding is no different. We could write down all the feel-good principles of clean code and then trust you to do the work. In other words, let you fall down when you get on the bike. But then what kind of teachers would that make us? And what kind of student would that make you? No, that's not the way this book is going to work. Learning to write clean code is hard work. It requires more than just the knowledge of principles and patterns. You must sweat over it. You must practice it yourself and watch yourself fail. You must watch others practice it and fail. You must see them stumble and retrace their steps. You must see them agonize over decisions and see the price they pay for making those decisions the wrong way. Be prepared to work hard with this book. This is not a feel-good book that you can simply listen to on an airplane and finish before you land. This book will make you work, and work hard. What kind of work will you be doing? You'll be dealing with code, lots of code, and you will be challenged to think about what's right about that code and what's wrong with it. You'll be asked to follow along as we take modules apart and put them back together again. This will take time and effort, but we think it will be worth it. We have divided this book into 3 parts. The first several chapters, which you'll listen to, describe the principles, patterns, and practices of writing clean code. This will prepare you for the second section to come. If you put the book down after just listening to the first section, good luck to you. The second part of the book is the harder work. Chapters 14, 15, and 16, which can be found in the accompanying PDF, are 3 case studies of ever-increasing complexity. Each case study is an exercise in cleaning up some code, of transforming code that has some problems into code that has fewer problems. The detail in this section is intense. You will have to go back and forth between the narrative and the code listings. You will have to analyze and understand the code we are working with and walk through our reasoning for making each change we make. Set aside some time, because this should take you days. The third part of this book is the payoff. It is a single chapter that contains a list of heuristics and smells gathered while creating the case studies. It is included in the audiobook so that you can listen from start to finish, and also in the accompanying PDF as it makes a great reference. We created this section while working on Part 2 as we walked through and cleaned up the code in the case studies. We documented every reason for our actions as a heuristic or smell. We tried to understand our own reactions to the code we were reading and changing, and worked hard to capture why we felt what we felt and did what we did. The result is a knowledge base that describes the way we think when we write, read, and clean code. To be very clear, this knowledge base is of limited value if you don't do the work of carefully studying the case studies in the accompanying PDF. In those case studies, we have carefully annotated each change we made with a forward reference to the relevant heuristic. These forward references appear in square brackets with text like N6, short for the 6th naming.